That hurt. More verticality. All right, welcome to the Straight Red Card. This is segment 3. We're usually pretty slosh, but I think we're holding it together tonight. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Nope. Apparently, we've lost it. Hey, have you ever seen that show on Master? I think it's the Masterpiece Theater. It's All Creatures Big and Small. Have you seen that? It's about veterinarians back in like the 1890s in Britain. Ooh. And all the shit they had. Maybe it was early 1900s. I can't remember. I just watched it recently. I love that show, dude. I love that show. It made me laugh. It made me cry. But I just got addicted to this show. It's crazy out of nowhere. Random watch.
What's totally the barber from that Johnny Depp played? Was it Todd Sweeney? Is that the name of it?
Something Sweeney, yeah.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. So yeah. I mean, they minced people into meat
hamburgers,
pies. Meat pies. So I imagine the vets in England in the 1800s probably made cat pies and dog pies.
No, I think this is more early 1900s then. If that's the case. Well,
never take your dog to an 18th century vet. I mean, they're just going to say, let's kill it.
It's got some great moments because I'm like, there's this 80-year-old lady who brings her canary in, and he's supposed to clip its beak or something, and then while he's handling it, when she leaves, it dies in his hands. And this old lady loves this fucking bird. He's like, oh fuck.
And then they fried it and ate it, right?
No.
I mean, that's the part they didn't show in the show because that'd be too gruesome, right?
So I think he brings her up. So they're telephones. So it's got to be 1900s, and it says, I need to have your bird for an extra day. There's some complications. She's really worried and concerned. And then he goes out and buys her a canary of the same color, exact same color. And then she notices it sounds different when she comes to pick it up. He's like, nah, it's just the beak work we did. There were some complications, so he's going to sound a little different. It's not a
cosmetics
big deal.
For canaries. Huh?
Yeah, and she was so happy, because she loves this fucking bird.
Dude, that bird was a bitch earlier, man. He just constantly talk. Now he doesn't do it.
Like,
great work.
And it was like $9 for the beak clipping, and he spent like $50 on this canary. So he took a loss, and then the boss didn't like that. Anyhow,
$50. I wouldn't spend $50 on a fucking canary now.
I don't know what they cost. I just made it up
for a bird, I guess.
I just fucking made that up. All right. So just before we get to the bigger one, there were 2 comments on Filippo's show today. I didn't watch it live, so I didn't comment. But I appreciate the people who put up the eyeballs thing when I'm actually do comment on Filippo's show, and they're like, the Straight Red Card is here. Eyeball. That's cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you noticing. But one of the questions on his show from one of his folks was Timmy Chandler, he's playing pretty well there for On Track Frankfurt. Why doesn't he get considered? Well, he's kind of out of the picture, dude. And I'm not sure he's played that great this season either. But he's kind of out of the, listen, he plays right. He can play right wing back, which we don't play, or winger. And we got plenty of those. I mean, outside the fact that Reyna and Way are now down, but I don't think Timothy Chandler's better than Jordan Morris. So I wouldn't replace Morris with a Chandler. So no,
would he be a better option than say Cannon or Yedlin or
no? Moore? He's not a defender. This is not something. Listen, they've played him.
Neither are they. Well, I guess more. So
Cannon is.
Dest isn't. I guess we'll put it that way.
Right.
Cannon and Moore are. Yedlin has picked up defensive abilities, and Dest is still basically a winger playing as a wingback.
Where are you going to play Chandler? When he was successful with Frankfurt, was having a really good season. This is a while back, scoring goals and all. He was playing as a winger or a right wing back, but never as a right back. Never.
Regardless.
They play him there sometimes now, but that's
Yeah.
not his optimum position. He's not a right back. He was never a good right or left back for us. So
now, hindsight's always 2020, but I feel like even then people aren't really remembering well. Because I mean, it was like a 50-50 chance which Chandler would show up, and even then, it was even less of a 50-50 chance that Chandler would even show up. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, what
Right.
he played I don't have it in front of me, but played a handful of games for us before mysteriously stopped showing up.
He turned down so many call-ups
Yeah.
over the years, so
That's where he's at.
We talked about it might being a fear of flying because he does have a fear of flying, but that's not the reason, because he mentioned about a year ago that he would love to be called back up to the U.S. team again. Well, it's
that shit might have fucking sailed, man.
That sailed. It sailed for Julian Green when where Timothy Tillman stole the starting spot, and now there's talk of Green coming back to the MLS or coming to MLS. He's never been here before, so there's that. I just, you can bring up random players, that's fine, and we'll talk about them, but Chandler, I think he's just out. He's done. His goose is cooked. I mean, he'd have to start scoring goals out his ass.
Even then, I don't know if that'd be enough.
Yeah, I don't either. And then another guy's like, what happened to Aron Johannsson? What do you mean what happened to Aron Johannsson? Yeah. Bacon. You could just go to Wiki. Look it up, Wikipedia. I'll tell you exactly what happened to him. He went to Poland. He played a handful of games because he was injured the whole time he was there in Poland. After playing pretty injury-free at Hammarby and scoring some goals, he made the move to Poland and to Lech Poznan, and he was just injured almost the whole fucking time.
Like nuts? Is that what you just said?
Lech Poznan.
Yeah, like Poles nuts.
No, not like Poles nuts.
Oh.
I don't even know what are Poles nuts anyhow.
He's playing in Poland, so. No, so Bacon's got two artificial left hips. It's a fact.
They're bad, and in fact, at one point in his career, they told him this is not going to get any better. But
I feel bad for the guy too, man.
I do too.
Oh, I had so many hopes. We made the switch over to the United States. I was like, yes, yes, and then he got injured, and then injured, and then injured, and then injured. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I mean, having a celebrity on the team would have grown interest for soccer. I mean, having Kevin Bacon out there would have been amazing.
I know it would have been, and
it is what it is. I mean, Kevin Bacon's like a 50-year-old actor at this point. So I mean, it's unrealistic that he'd make the lineup or the roster for anything for us. Sorry,
I bet you Kevin Bacon's touched 2 soccer balls in his whole life.
Well, we have 6 degrees of bacon, easy.
Well,
because bacon.
I'm sure he's touched his own balls, but not soccer balls. So anyhow, Aron Johansson's in Valur. That's where he is. He's in Iceland. He's back in Iceland, folks. He's 31 going on 32. He's pretty much done. Don't think he's even played for Valur yet. So, and that actually relates to this other question I saw and wasn't going to bring up, but some guy's like, whatever happened to Fabian Johnson? What do you mean what happened to Fabian Johnson? He was relentlessly injured constantly the last 3 or 4 years of his career. He spent more time injured than playing. So when he, was let go by Gladbach, he put out something where he's like, yeah, I'd like to play for MLS. Well, I think some MLS teams did make an offer. I think Cincinnati did. And he's like, well, fuck that. I want DP money. And they're like, well, fuck, you're an injured cripple. So no, we're not giving you DP money. You come here, stay healthy, and prove it. Then we'll give you DP money. And he's like, well, fuck you. Or his agent said, fuck you. And so, yeah, he's basically retired. He hasn't announced retirement.
Yeah.
But he hasn't played for 2.5 seasons now?
Yeah. The contract you're talking about, like, if you want DP money, you got to come here and prove that you're not going to get injured, is the equivalent of that Tampa Bay wide receiver. God, what the fuck is his name? I can't think of it right now. Regardless, but it's hey, here's your contract. You're getting paid a pittance in comparison to what you should be getting paid, but you proved to us that Brown.
It's Brown.
You proved to us that you're not going to be a nut job, and then we'll pay you. That's basically the equivalence of, hey, don't get injured and we'll pay you.
Right. And of course, Brown went nuts. So, I don't know what they expected. Of course, that was going to happen. And that one dude's like, hey, man, I don't want to hear about no football fucking shit. No American football. I come here for the soccer. Well, dude, we talk about all kinds of fucking things. So get over it.
The first 6 to 8 minutes of our show usually is bullshitting.
We don't, it's like, it's 10 minutes of bullshitting, 10 minutes of soccer, and 10
Is that
minutes
when we
of
talked about
bullshitting.
we were talking about the Colts?
Yes.
That was like 30 seconds.
No, I know. It was literally like 22 seconds. And the guy's like, I don't want to hear about no American football. It's like, dude, calm the fuck down.
I want to go out on a limb and probably assume that he's joking.
No, I'm going to say he's either joking or he's very new to the show. Because if you've been listening to the show for a while, this is what we do. This is what we do. I'm
spacing the one poster, but he posted something that I know you jumped onto, and then everybody else jumped onto it. I go, guys, wait a second. Oh, he said horrible or something like that.
I didn't jump on him. Gizmo did.
Oh, Gizmo did? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which one. I knew it had been one of the two because it wasn't me. Because I was like, wait a second, guys. I think he's saying this. And he's like, yep, you're right. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. GZ had to apologize. I think that's the last post I saw. He said he apologized. So
you rubbed his face in it, right? Bad.
Exactly.
Bad.
That's our aforementioned producer. Anyhow, so sometimes we get it wrong, and we try, but I mean, he did. What was his post? It was like horrible.
It was one word. It just said horrible.
And it's like, well,
I don't even remember what show was about, though.
The show's horrible. It was.
That's what I think everybody took it as.
Miles doesn't want to go to Europe. That was it. And he said horrible. Well, he should have said Miles not wanting to go to Europe is horrible, because then everyone jumped on his ass. We had.
I'm glad he stuck it out, though. I'm glad he stuck it out.
We had several other posters who jumped on his ass too and said,
why are you even here?
Why are you here then, bitch? But it was nice to know he's a regular listener.
Yeah.
And if I did say anything, I don't remember saying anything on that post. I might have. I apologize if I said something. But that was my first thought too when I read horrible. I'm like, what's horrible? Just tell me, I mean, if you got a criticism, then let us know. But no, he meant Miles not going to Europe was horrible.
The horrible decision.
So if you're posting, try to be clear and not set yourself up to look like you're a jerk when you're not a jerk. And I know that can be difficult sometimes. I mean, I've sounded like a jerk. I sound like a jerk every show. But when you're posting and you're writing, it's probably a good idea to make sure if you say horrible that people know what horrible you're talking about, because they're going to assume the worst. But anyhow, thanks for watching. And now, speaking of horrible, no, not horrible.
No, not even close.
Not even close. We had another one of our followers post up his what? You explain it to me.
He predicted the pool that Greg. Sorry, is this the pool?
He didn't predict it. He said this should be the only pool that Greg should pull from going forward.
Yeah, and this is from a listener of all of our shows, named Zach Casey. Give him a follow on Twitter. And looking at his starting 11, looking at his depth, there's not a lot to disagree with.
No,
there are a couple though.
Although he's not listening to our show, if he thinks Brooks is going to be on there.
Oh, people can have a difference of opinion from us.
Well, he doesn't believe
they can be wrong. They can be wrong.
Well, we could be wrong.
No, we're right.
I'm pretty sure we're right, though.
Pretty sure we're right.
That there's a lot of friction between.
I mean, in fairness, not only does he have Brooks, but he also has Miazga as a backup to Brooks. So,
and he loves Zimmerman, and he loves Robinson. So we're looking. I'm putting this up on the screen,
and just nitpicking here.
Yeah, we're gonna nitpick.
He's got Zimmerman as a left center back option, and McKenzie as a right center back. I would flip flop those two at the very minimum, because McKenzie can at least play left center back, and I don't know if I've ever seen Zimmerman play left center back.
No, he does not play left center back unless there's some catastrophe that happens. He's not really good with his left foot. So no. I mean, he's okay with it. I mean, he's not horrible.
I guess,
He doesn't shank him and shit like that, but it's not a strong point of his game.
Personally, I would have in this setup here, I would have Richards starting over Brooks. Brooks as a depth, and push Zimmerman to right center back depth, and push Robinson up to starting right back or right center back. That makes sense.
If we're playing 3 center backs,
no. So take Brooks out of left center back.
Yes,
put him in depth.
Replace him with Robinson.
No, push Richards over to left center back.
Oh yeah, because he can do
push
that.
Robinson up to right center back, and then push Zimmerman over to right center back depth.
Okay, I still think in the end, what's going to really happen here is Zimmerman and Richards are starting.
Zimmerman and Richards?
Zimmerman and Miles Robinson are starting.
And Richards will be sitting.
Yes.
Okay.
In this coming window.
Yes, I know. I agree with you on that. Yes.
And then
not my personal choice, but yes, I agree.
But he can just wipe Brooks off this list as far as I'm concerned. I think Brooks is done. And I think
Miazga off the list.
Yeah, Miazga looks done as shit too right now. I mean, something miraculous would have to happen between Brooks and Berhalter to repair the relationship. And on the other hand, Miazga would suddenly have to start on a regular for Alaves and be playing well and doing well. So
I guess the big thing point here is that those are people who are in depth. Because I guess if you look at those 4 depth players and you got to pick somebody else to replace Miazga with, or even Brooks with, I mean, we haven't really looked past that point. So those are just players that are potentially in depth, I guess.
No, I get it. I get what he's doing here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pour a little reality into the cup.
Out of center back. Although I guess...
hold on. He had Horvath on this list.
I was about to say, let's jump back to goalkeeper because I realized that was going to be a thing.
Nah, Horvath is Horvathing. So no, I'm sorry.
In fairness, he could Horvath with the United States national team too.
Well, he did before. But, this is getting a little ridiculous at this point. How long can you sit on your fat ass and not play the game? And he's not fat. He's actually quite slim. But for me, if I was doing it, it'd be a fat ass. It's just, you got to
put down the fried chicken, Derek. Come on.
You got to play some fucking games, cup games at least. Jesus Christ. So I would wipe him off, and Johnson's just going to be there because I'm sorry. You got to earn it a little. Let's do the backs. He had Destin Robinson. I think that's perfect. And then he had Scally, and that's perfect. Yedlin, and no, I don't agree with Reynolds or Gomez. Well, I don't think Gomez is going to make the decision this early, and Reynolds, unless he has some great loan at Club Brugge.
No, Anderlecht.
Or Anderlecht, yes, we don't want him to go to Bruges.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Bruges is not good. So go to Anderlecht. Better chances. But right now,
that depth right there, I mean, you might as well ignore Gomez, ignore Reynolds. Basically, that's what you're looking at, is what he's saying.
Yeah, and
I would like Berhalter to push for Gomez to come.
I would,
and let's go with 5 wingbacks. Fuck it, why not?
You mean I'd be fine if he's right and Gomez makes it? That's great.
Yeah.
But I think we got a long ways to go on that. And Gomez just got to Real Sociedad. So there is a lot to learn and a lot to know going forward about him as a player.
Yeah, let's be frank though. He's got 1 assist for the national team. Well, more or less an assist, I guess. I don't know. That's an unfortunate non-assist because the keeper had to make a save. But I'm chalking it up as an assist, but he hasn't got one. He hasn't got one for the what?
Yeah, hockey assist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he shoots, goalkeeper makes a save, and then Bassett put it away.
Bassett, yeah, the Bassett Hound.
So I'm giving him as an assist. I mean, that even though it's not going to ever chalk up as an actual assist, he calls a goal. But he has not gotten an assist for the Mexican national team, so clearly that means he's going to choose us.
I think there's a good chance we're on his radar in a serious way. So let's be patient. But I don't think unless he's predicting the 2022 World Cup. But he said going forward, right? So he said this is the pool he should pick from going forward.
The rest of World Cup qualifying.
Yeah, and I just don't think that's right because Gomez is not going to be ready.
I don't know if necessarily if Gomez even would accept it. He might. I mean, this is the trouble we always have when predicting dual nationals. You know, he accepted the Bosnia game, but that wasn't cap time by any means. So, I mean, why wouldn't you take it? You know, let's see what the U.S. men's national team has to offer. It's a decision that all dual nationals have to pick, and it's their right to pick it, obviously. Hopefully he picks United States, but if he picks Mexico, he picks Mexico. That's his choice.
And I just want to clarify, we're not busting your balls, dude. We're just trying.
No. Exactly. This is a great post. We're just going off of it. It's great content for us.
It's
and
great
for you to listen to.
It's a great conversation piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we looked at this and Brett and I talked about it for like a half an hour. So even before we did the show, we're like, oh, did you see this guy? I mean, he put out this kind of semi-legit.
Like I said, 95, 98%, pretty much accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. And then, except
Speaking
then
of legit, not on the roster apparently. I just noticed that.
Well, he did right there, and no roll on either. So good there. But then let's talk about little weaknesses here, because you got Adams, Tessman, and you got Odasawi. And I get it. You really want Odasawi to be a good player.
I want him to be a good player.
I do too. And he's just not there. And, you know, he's got a lot of work to do at Club Brugge. So
getting out of Club Brugge, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Like even playing a game for them. Yeah. And remember, he already had discipline issues. Then he went back to England for a while to cry about it. And then he came back. I don't know if he cried about it, but you know what I'm saying? There was an issue. He was having some issues. And they thought he was a discipline issue. So they sent him away for a while. Then he came back and then he played for the reserve team. And that didn't really go well either. And, you know, he played in a recent friendly and maybe a cup game or something like that, but not much. In the friendly, he played the first or the last 45, either one of those, but it wasn't impressive. In fact, he was pretty lackluster. I watched some of the highlights of that game. And so, you know, if he doesn't bust his balls, he's nowhere on this list right now. That would still be
absolutely no. I mean, it's going to be in Acosta. You can throw in Cardoso if you really want.
Yep, I'd take that.
But I mean, I love the inclusion of Tessman. I would love to see him get a call up.
Yep. I think that was great. I like seeing Tessman there because I just mentioned that a couple days ago. But Odasawi, my friend, is just not ready yet. I'm
nowhere near the list. Unless we qualify and you want to maybe give him a platform to shine to maybe convince Bruges, but even then, that's not what the national team is. No, and I would rather give it to somebody who's consistent playing week in, week out.
He's not even in the pool. He's 2 blocks away. All right. And he doesn't
he's
have
the equivalent of us watching the games right now.
And he doesn't have his pool pass. Exactly. So, you know, he's kind of screwed. He's on the way to the pool, but he doesn't have a pass.
Hands on the Aron fence, looking at the people in the pool going, who want to be in the pool? It's 95 degrees outside.
And yeah, exactly. And the bicycle he's riding has a flat tire. So all that needs to be fixed before he even gets to the pool. But the rest of this is good. McKenny, Busio.
Yeah.
Reina.
He's got Reina in the midfield, which a lot of us are pushing.
Not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen. You're right. Probably more somebody else. I mean, Aronson plays more of a 10 for Salzburg, doesn't he? More so than a winger, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, Aronson does play a 10.
So I mean, he would probably fit more into the midfield than Reina would. Unfortunately, in fairness, I guess before the injury, Reina was playing in the midfield for Dortmund. So I mean, it's all questionable. But you've gone over a number of shows as far as why you don't think Reina will ever be in the midfield.
I have, and I'm not going to repeat it. But Aronson, we did try at midfield. Or Greg did.
Yeah, I think the Dest Aronson and Pulisic, was it Dest Aronson and Pulisic on that side? Or was Dest Aronson and someone? But yeah, they all nullified each other. That was just a horrible trio of players. They were all running the same spots.
Taking up the same space, getting each other's way. Yeah, everyone's making the same runs. That was not good. And so that didn't work. That's not the same.
So Aaron,
if it couldn't be worked out, it could be worked out, and they wouldn't get a trample on.
I think
another.
Aronson would work well if you played with a 10 and then say 2 box to boxes. So say McKinney and Adams were more box to box, and had more defensive responsibility, and Aronson had more run of the center mid area. I think that would work better than having him paired on the side of either Way or Pulisic.
Well, how many times have we said we'd like to see
Berhalter I'd like to see a unicorn right now.
I'd like to see Berhalter play ACAM. Well,
there's the unicorn right there.
It's just not going to happen, folks. So I think you just need to get over it. There's not going to be a 4-2-3-1.
Reina's going to be a right winger. Let's leave it at that.
Not going to be a 4-4-1-1. It's not happening. So if you got an issue with that, don't bitch at us. I guess call it Berhalter, because that's just not happening. And then he had Luca De La Torre, which was fine. Clark, again, another guy outside the pool with a broken down bike with a flat tire, not ready to be entered into this pool. Sorry. And same with Ledesma. Ledesma, first of all, just got back from a horrible injury.
Yeah.
There's no way he should be in the pool right now. Let's let him play a little while.
And I had this conversation on Twitter with another poster. We had talked about a spot, and somebody had brought up Ledesma, and I'm like, let's wait for him to get back onto the first team itself consistently, and not just in the 18 or a bit minute here, a bit minute there.
Although he did play 90 recently in a loss.
Well, that's good. So, I mean, it's just let's wait for him to get some considerable minutes, and quite frankly, if memory serves me correct, when Ledesma played for the United States under Berhalter, he wasn't playing that position. He was playing the Pulisic role. I think he was out left.
Right, because he's another attacking midfield.
So, it's the same reason why you have said for a number of times that you don't see Clark being in that position either.
No, and Clark's not ready anyhow. In fact, I mean, we've already mentioned this. Leipzig said, yeah, go back to New York. So there's that.
What a bad decision.
It's such a bad decision.
God damn it, dude.
Just transfer him to fucking Salzburg, man. Let him play backup to fucking. Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's
only for 6 months, though. So
I get it, but he could be there for 6 months.
Exactly. Aronson. Yeah, we've had this argument before.
Yeah,
we both agree. We're both in the same boat here. We both agree.
Yeah, I know. And then we move to the forwards, Pulisic, and he has the backup as Conrad. Sure. I mean, that's okay. Yeah. On the right,
I honestly think it's going to be Aronson, because Reina is going to be up where Way is at, and Way is going to be back up to Reina.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we're talking about he could only select from this pool, or I had it my way. Some of these guys are injured. Reina, Weah. So on the right wing, he has Weah and Aronson, but really that's going to be when Reina's healthy, it'll be Reina, Weah, Aronson, or Weah / Reina, Aronson, or Aronson. We don't know, because we don't know. And then Morris could still be in this picture too. Or even Areola, because we know how much he likes to snuggle his nuts. So, I can't really complain on what he put here, though. It's,
No, I mean, like you said, 95, 98%, I think is pretty accurate. I think we've been nitpicking a lot of things.
Kind of our job.
Yeah. We're nitpickers.
That's what we do. We look over your lists and we tear them with
that number 9 position. Man, okay, no, that's accurate.
It is.
Hoppy, not so much, unfortunately. Hoppy will never play a number 9 under Berhalter. I don't think so, at least.
No, he'll be shifted over to where Pulisic's position is, and he'll play left winger.
He'll be left or right, regardless. And I think instead of Hoppy, I think the other option would have been Pifak.
Yeah. I mean, you could pile that one up. Pepe, Diki, Hoppy, Sargent, Pifak.
Sound like you just said something in German there.
I didn't.
I knew you did.
You don't say. Lieber meine Monkey Spiel. All right.
I'm just imagining you going back and forth, shifting your shoulders up and down while doing that. Yeah.
It's almost like the Swedish chef. They're like, that's not Swedish. That's not Swedish.
Or maybe it is.
But, I don't even know if you'd be allowed to make fun of Swedes, but for various reasons. But Anyhow, thank you for watching this show and continuing to support us. We're almost at 1.8 people, so keep pushing.
Moving on up.
We're moving on up. Again, I think that show, which is the American Council show, comes out tomorrow. But then that'll be like yesterday when you listen to this. But that's on Yanks 11, so check that out. We're all trying to kind of promote each other's shows. And so check that out. That's Pete, myself, Tactical, and Sam. And it's really cool because at certain points of the conversation, there's like a real disagreement between Sam and the rest of us on a couple of occasions.
Poor Sam.
So, poor
Sam. Did Sam need me there for reinforcements? Is this the issue is?
Yeah, you might have helped a little, although I definitely didn't keep on it because, but the great thing is it's a real conversation. It's a real debate. Like nobody's feelings got hurt.
And that's the thing to consider. We're not an echo chamber here. We disagree with each other. Mm-hmm. We agree a lot with each other, but we also disagree with moments. So
how many times have I disagreed with Pete in the last week? At least twice. So not disagreed, but just had a different point of view.
Different point of view, difference of opinion. And guess what? Nobody's butthurt. We're allowed to disagree with each other. It's all good.
We're all still friends.
Yeah.
We're still, some of us are still texting back and forth here and there, and everything's good, folks. So
Derek, I told you not to send me those pictures, by the way. Stop that.
Pictures are you talking about? Anyhow, go watch that show because it's good, because I think it's going to be something that's going to be cool for the next, once a month going forward. And Brett will replace me at some point, and then I'll come in.
If it's at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, there's no chance in hell I'm ever going to replace that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for me too. The only reason I can do it is I was sick, So
if we're going to start a show and we're going to have consistent people, let's do it on the fucking weekend or later at night. I know that some people have different
schedules.
I guess everybody has different schedules. That's the big problem when doing these collabs. We're dealing with that right now with Jake from FIFA America. He's over in England. He's in England.
What the fuck is he doing in England? I didn't know he's
getting his coaching license and everything. He's over there. Yeah, he's over there. So he's like a good 5 hours ahead of us. So we're trying to work out a weekend schedule because I've got kids and Derek doesn't go to bed till like 8 a.m.
This is so weird to hear that Jake's getting his coaching license, because like the last thing. He is the most soft-spoken person ever. I cannot imagine him being a coach. I was a coach, and I yelled, and I screamed. And, I was abrasive.
Maybe all the players under Jake respect him, and that's unlike your experience.
You know what? If all his players get high before the game starts, they'll be fine, because they'll be like, what's Jake's got to say, baby? I want to hear it. But I love that demeanor. He's the coolest, calmest guy in the world. I would never expected him to be getting a coaching license. Yep. So that's really crazy.
I think he said I may be butchering this, but it's like the B license or whatever.
Yeah,
he's up there.
He's got a ways to catch up to Pete. I think Pete had his A. So, but go for it, man. Go for it, Jake.
Feeling it.
And we look forward to finally hooking up and having a good time with you. Hopefully, you'll join us in partaking. If not, that's cool too. But looking forward. Yeah. So yes, there is a show coming up. We're working out with Jake, so we'll be on his show too. How we doing on Brettos? We got any word from Brettos yet?
Not yet, but I'll continue.
Okay. All right. I was thinking maybe I could ask Jimmy to give me to pass along a request. So maybe I'll do that.
Pass along contact information. Yeah.
Although,
he's put the ball in his court as a whole.
He's actually responding to his posters now on Facebook. Like, yes. I think he realized he's doing
it on Twitter a lot too. So I think there are a number of people. So like a number of people, and I'm not saying that Brettos is this by any means, but there are a number of people who probably ignored the public as a whole. Yeah. Like any posters or commenters or requests and stuff like that. And I don't know what maybe the big difference as a whole. But yeah, there are more people that are much more open to just communicating. I'm not even saying coming on to shows, nobody shows like us, whatever.
Right.
But just communicating. I mean, you see Eric Ronaldo really communicating with a lot of the people that we communicate with.
Yes. And, by the way, I have to talk about the joke you pulled on me. So Brett pulled a joke on me. So I got the message from Filippo to do this show with them, with Pete and Sam. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. What time? Blah, blah, blah. We arranged it. And then, my stepson was over. We're playing games. And I get this text from Brett. And it says, yeah, I hear Ronaldo's going to be on the show too. And there's going to be an intervention between you and Ronaldo. I'm like, what? No. I don't want to do that. I don't need that shit in my life. That sounds stressful. And then, so I text Filippo and I said, yeah, I hear Ronaldo's on the show and you guys are doing an intervention. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? And I'm like, oh, okay. So Ronaldo's not going to be on the show. And he's like, no. And then I said, yeah, Brett just pulled a fast one on me. I actually believed that Ronaldo was going to
soccer
show. And, I thought maybe they know listening from our past shows, and Eric and I had a little scrap up and all that 10 years ago, and not a fight. But anyhow, that I didn't really want to be involved in an intervention, but oh well, fuck it. That was hilarious. My stepson and I laughed for at least 5 minutes because I was reading him the texts and telling him what was going on. And we just laughed. He watches our show, by the way. So he's one of our subscribers and regular listeners. He never comments though, because he doesn't really know a whole, like he's not a new soccer fan. He watches the games, but it's mostly he learned that he loved soccer by, I think he played youth soccer as a goalie, but then it was FIFA, that he plays, and that's what we play together, FIFA. And so that's how he knew all the players, knew all the big names, etc. And so we can have those kind of soccer conversations now. And he knows every single player on the U.S. men's national team too. So
you've raised him right.
Yes. Well, I only had him for his last 4 years. He was here through high school. He came from his stepfather's or his father's house to here and finished high school here. So it was interesting times. Great swimmer, by the way, great swimmer. All right. I think that's going to do it. I think, the nickname for the show we were talking about with Pete and you or me and Sam and Filippo should be the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. That's what I think that show should be called.
I made that comment about a couple of MLS regulars on Berhalter's squad.
Yes, exactly. They are the 4 horsemen. I hope they dehorse, or what does that mean when you dismount? Do you dismount from a horse? So I should know that as an army brat. All right. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, this show probably went way fucking long, but it's really not surprising since it's segment 3, and we usually just sort of garble our way through it. All right. Until the next time, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your Uncle Joe. All right. We'll see you later, folks. Bye.